this video we'll be going over how to simplify fractions. So let's start off with 6 over 18. Now in order to simplify the fractions, what I'm doing is I'm making the fraction as small as it will go. And I do that by dividing by a number that can go into both the numerator, which is the top number, and the denominator, which is the bottom number. So I need to think to myself, what can 6 be divided by and 18 can be divided by? And it has to be the same number, because whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. So because these are both even numbers, I'm going to start with dividing by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 18 divided by 2 is 9. Now I need to look at this fraction and think, is there another number that both these can be divided by? Yes, there is. So I'm then going to divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So I'm left with 1/3, and that is as simple as this fraction will go. I know that that's as simple as it will go because the numerator is a 1. So when I get the numerator to 1, that is as simple as it will go. That is not always the case, however. What I could also have done, just swap colours here. Some of you might have looked at 6 over 18 and said, oh, well, they can both be divided by 6, which would have been 1 over 3. And regardless of which way round you would do this, as long as you end up with the fraction being 1/3, you will still get the marks in the exam. Now, if we've had a fraction, for example, like, and I want to simplify it, making it smaller, so I divide by a number that goes into both 15 and 33. Now, the first number that I can think of is going to be dividing them both by 3. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. And 33 divided by 3 is 11. Now, 5 and 11 are both odd numbers, however, they can't both be divided by the same number that I can think of, and 11 is actually a prime number. So 5/11 is the simplest that this fraction can go. We could have, for example, now this is an improper fraction. And if you are asked to simplify this fraction, you do exactly the same method. So you are dividing both numbers by something in order to make it smaller. So I'm going to divide them both by 4. 44 divided by 4 is 11. And then whatever I have to do to the top, I do to the bottom. So 28 divided by 4 is 7. And I end up with 11 over 7, which is still an improper fraction. But that is the fraction in its simplest form. Let's try another. You might have 24 over 6. Now, you might divide by 3 to get 8 over 2, and then divide by 2 to get 4 over 1. You might look at 24 over 6 and divide it immediately by 6. Again, either way, you do get the points in the exam. It doesn't matter how many steps you do, as long as you end up with the correct simplified fraction. And finally, if you are asked to simplify a mixed number fraction, so this is a mixed number fraction because it has a whole number and a fraction. First thing you'll need to do to this is to make it into an improper fraction. So I am converting it into an improper fraction. And I do this by taking the whole number multiplying it by the denominator, which is the bottom number, and adding the numerator. So 1 times 15 is 15, plus 3 is 18, so my new fraction is going to be 18 over 15 because the denominators stay the same. And then I can simply simplify this fraction. So I'm going to take those both and divide them both by 3 to get me 6 over 5. And that is as simple as that fraction can go. So 1 3/15 as a simplified fraction is 6 over 5, and this is an improper fraction.